Hello guys, and welcome back. We're going to go over match day 16 fixtures. We're going to keep track of which ones I get right and wrong, and keep a total of that for the rest of the season, and give you reasons why I believe each team is going to win or lose. First off, let's start off with the early game, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. This one's kind of tough because I know that we typically struggle during the early morning games. For my time, it's 7:30, but in UK, I think it's a 12:30 kickoff time. Um, I'm still going to go Liverpool though. Although it's away from home, I do believe that we have enough quality to get us through this season. We haven't struggled as much with those times, but at the same time, it's Crystal Palace. They're always going to be well coached against Roy Hodgson as their manager. Didn't work out at Liverpool. Can't believe that he was actually a Liverpool manager. Yeah, it's crazy to say, but uh, yeah, he's done really well with Crystal Palace this season. I believe they're somewhere in the mid-table area as always, but I don't think they have enough quality. They're just coming off of a 2-0 loss to Bournemouth, um, and we have too much quality. Um, yeah, I think. Should I give a score? I think it'll be close though. I think it'll be close. I'm debating 2-1 or 2-0. Let's go 2-0. 2-0 to Liverpool. Next up, we got Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. I believe Nottingham Forest are going to come out in this game wanting to fight for Steve Cooper, because I believe that the players do highly respect Steve Cooper and do want him to still keep his job. But it's tough, man. They're on such bad losing streak, and I think Steve Cooper is a really good manager. At best, I think they could get a draw, but I wouldn't bet on it. I think Wolves walk away with this 2-3-0. The way that they got embarrassed by Fulham isn't a good sign. As much as I love Steve Cooper and think he's done a great job at Nottingham Forest, they're just in such a bad dip of form right now that it's hard to see them going to the Molineux and getting a result against Wolves, who are better than what their league table shows. They've been getting screwed over by a lot of these VAR calls and a lot of fouls not going their way. They're much better than what they are. They should be up in contention for one of the Conference League places. I think Gary O'Neill's doing really good. I was high on him when he was at Bournemouth and shocked that he was fired. But I think that they walk away with this 2-3-0. Brighton versus Burnley, easily Brighton. They're at the Amex. They're not coming off of any Europa League games. Usually, if this was off a Europa League game, they mightily struggle because they've never done this before. Still trying to find their feet and how to balance European football and league football. But Burnley, they don't have quality. I said this last season. Burnley aren't good. I didn't believe in Vincent Kompany that he could do it in the Premier League with this team. Just because he's a disciple of the Pep coaching tree doesn't mean that he's Pep Guardiola, and a lot of people overrated him and what he could do, but not looking at the squad and the players that he has and his stubbornness with it not working. Granted, they destroyed Sheffield United, but Sheffield United aren't even close to being a Premier League team. They're a championship team at best who sold all their big names. So, I mean, granted, they fired their manager, Paul Heckingbottom, but he had no chance of keeping his job and winning games. So Brighton win this one 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 Brighton. Next up, Sheffield United versus Brentford. Easily Brentford. A lot of these games aren't really going to be close in my opinion. There's only like one or two that I can see being close. But outside of that, should be a blowout for Brentford. Sheffield United played decently against Liverpool, but Liverpool weren't very good either. I think that the way Brentford are playing and the way that they can score goals when they're on, Brentford will win this. I'll be shocked if Sheffield United can get even anything out of this game. I'm going to go Brentford 2-0. Next up, we have Man U versus Bournemouth. It's at Old Trafford, and I know Man United played really well against Chelsea. They actually surprised me a lot because I don't rate Ten Hag at all. I don't think he's a good manager, but credit when credit's due. He did play really well against Chelsea, got that team going. But I think that was just a one-off. I think that they just wanted to, get that media speculation away from the club, go out there and perform. They had a chip on their shoulder. Bournemouth are doing really well. Iraola, however you pronounce the manager's name. He's pretty decent, doing a decent job with Bournemouth. They're a young, youthful squad who are well coached too. Man United, they are a counter-attacking team, and Bournemouth, they will get at you if you are ill-disciplined on the defensive end, like we've seen before in their wins. They attack teams, and they know how to attack teams well. Dominic Solanke's turning out to be a Premier League level striker. All right, I think it's close though. I think it's 2-1 Bournemouth. But I wouldn't be surprised if Man United win this game either, especially with it being at Old Trafford. Next up, the game for tomorrow. The game for all the fixtures, honestly. Aston Villa versus Arsenal. It's going to be a tough one. The way that Aston Villa dominated Man City, I'd be scared if I'm an Arsenal fan, because you're at Villa Park. You just saw how they dominated Man City. If they play like that against Man City, why wouldn't they play like that against you? And I think Emery is way better manager than Pep Guardiola. Than Arteta. And if Emery outschooled Pep Guardiola, he's definitely going to outschool Mikel Arteta and that Arsenal team, who aren't very good at, are suffering from injuries. Suffering from injuries, and their backups is what I mean to say aren't the best right now because of how many injuries they have, having to chop and change players with those injuries. I think it could spell a 3-0 loss for Arsenal. Is that crazy? Yeah, but Villa are undefeated at home. Again, Arsenal are dealing with injuries. A lot of their games have been really close, and they're not putting teams away. And when you play a team like Aston Villa, who are going to put their chances away, it could spell a lot of trouble for them. I could be wrong, but I'm very confident that Aston Villa win this game easily. Next up, Luton Town versus Man City at Kenilworth Road. If Man City don't win this game, they're in a lot of trouble. I think that they come out and dominate Luton Town 4-5-0. Granted, it won't. I don't think that spells the end of Man City's troubles just because they dominate Luton Town. They should be. They're a team who are the treble winners, are champions of Europe. They should be going out there and beating Luton Town. They've been really good against Arsenal and Liverpool, but going up against Man City is just a different animal. I think that they walk out of here tails between their legs, 4-5-0. Next up, Fulham versus West Ham. No one really cares about this game, let's be honest. I do say West Ham will win, although Fulham are coming off a really high victory. I just don't see a way that they can compete with West Ham right now. Their squad just isn't good enough. I wouldn't bet on Jimenez scoring any more goals. He's so dry with his goal scoring output that him scoring those 2 goals were kind of an anomaly, in my opinion. And Alex Iwobi, I'm not betting on him to score goals either. But West Ham, I do expect them to create chances. They might not have most of the possession because they are away, but they will hit you on the counter. They will hit you with the set pieces from James Ward-Prowse. They are very dangerous, and I think that they walk away with that game, with the win in that game. Everton versus Chelsea. I think Everton win. It's at Goodison Park. Chelsea aren't very good right now. Granted, they had that 4-4 draw against Man City that hyped everyone up after beating Spurs, thinking that, this is going to turn it around. But as we've seen now, it definitely hasn't turned it around. There's still a lot more questions than there are answers about this Chelsea team and where they go into the future. Everton just outclassed Newcastle the other day. Granted, injury-depleted Newcastle. But, I think Everton will easily walk away with this win here. It might not be a big scoreline. Excuse my dog. But it might not be a big scoreline, but it might be a dominating victory for Everton. Tottenham versus Newcastle. 2 struggling teams right now. It is at home. I'm going to go Spurs. I think Ange Postecoglou, if you watched my last video, I am very high on Ange. I think he's doing things the right way. I think he's going to get this Tottenham team firing at some point this season. And I think that starts against Newcastle. Newcastle are dealing with a lot of injuries, and this is the time to get at them at home in front of your fans. Turn the season around before it gets any worse. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think my predictions are right? Do you think they're wrong? What do you guys think? I'd like to know your opinions, and I'll respond to your comments. If you haven't, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.